Welcome to episode 3. We're going to be doing flaking paint caused by damp. It's a common problem that happens in most bathrooms and kitchens. What happens is you get a bit of steam in the room, that steam gets behind the paint and it causes it to flake. I want to just show you here, if you look at the ceiling, we have endless amounts of flaking paint here, and that was because number one, they used a cheap PVA, can't do that in a bathroom, have to use a quality product. And the reason for that is you have to identify where that steam came from. And in this case, the steam came from the geyser. It had a bit of a problem, and so it got behind the paint and caused it to flake. So the first thing to do is to sort out where the problem came from, and that's the geyser. They've already gone and fixed the geyser so that unnecessary steam is not going on the ceiling. The other reason why is we only have one ventilation point here, being this little window, and that is just not adequate enough to release the steam out of this particular room. But we're going to be using a quality paint that is steam resistant, and that's going to alleviate half our problems, and we're going to show you how to get rid of all these indentations and flaking paints. So we've now done our inspection of the room. We realize that we got damp, we realize we got flaking paint, and we're going to show you exactly what products you need to rectify that. Okay, so after the inspection of the bathroom, these are the items that we're going to need. Our empty bucket, our wall skim here from Fost, our kitchen and bathroom paint from Stevenson's, assorted scrapers from Hamilton, some cutting brushes from Hamilton, our classic roller from Hamilton, some sandpaper, sanding block, mouse sander, super soaker mat, and some acrylic silicone. I'm going to go ahead now and put up my super soaker mat, making sure that I cover all the items in the bathroom. I'm not going to bore you with that, and I'll see you for the next step. Okay, so I put up my super soaker mat from Hamilton, making sure that I cover as much items as I possibly can in the bathroom because we don't want to spoil anything. And our next process is to scrape the ceiling. I'm using this scraper here from Hamilton. It's a 75mm scraper, and basically the way you're going to go about it is you're going to scrape all that flaking paint off. You will find that as you scrape, the item becomes a bit bigger, but just carry on scraping till you get all that loose paint. You don't want any loose paint under our next process. So we're just going to make sure that we get that all off. And that's quite self-explanatory. We have to make sure that we get all the flaking paint off, and I'm not going to bore you any further. I'm going to go ahead and scrape the whole ceiling down, and then I'll see you later. Okay, so now that we've done all the scraping, you'll probably find that you've got much larger areas than what you actually started off with. And the reason for that is the damp would have gone further down the crack, and you have to remove all those areas. So you'll see, like now, we landed up with a very poor condition of a ceiling here. We've got quite large cracks all over, and our next process is to basically sand so we take all those sharp corners away. And we're going to be doing it with a little mouse sander like this. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I just want to show you quickly how to do it, and then I'm going to basically sand the whole ceiling, and we'll come back to the next step. Right, so now that we've done all the sanding of the wall, our next process is to use wall skim. So this product, let me just tell you a couple of things about it. One, you don't need any bonding liquid, which is super. Two, once it dries, you can paint your paint straight on top of it. And that's what makes it really great. It's really user-friendly. The other thing is, it's got a 2 squares per kilo spreading rate. So it goes pretty far. We're not going to be doing a trowel method because a lot of guys battle with a trowel. They don't know how to use a trowel and it's a much difficult procedure. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be rolling it on. But because our indentation was deeper than I anticipated, I'm going to take a brush and I'm just going to brush all the indentation marks first before I do the roll-on application. So this is a really great product and we're going to see if it lives up to its name. So we put some wall skim already in the pan and we're ready to go. You'll see it's already mixed for us and that's what's super. And we'll be using our Hamilton 50mm brush here. And basically what we're going to do is we're just going to go over a mark and we just take the brush and we just brush it over that indentation. Just trying to smooth it out quite nicely, making sure we get all those little ends of the crack. I'm just doing this process because it's a little bit deeper than I thought it was, and we kind of need to fool that area just so that when we do roll it, it's going to be easier for us to just come back with a roller, which will even us out better. Product's quite easy. You'll see that it's quite a almost paintable slurry, and it just goes nicely over those cracks. Just filling up that area. Just want to make sure that all those sharp corners are stuck down. And I'm going to go ahead and do all that now. We're going to get all these cracks and then from there we'll roll it on. Okay, so now that I've used the brush and filled some of the indentation in, I'm going to go ahead now and use a roller to apply the wall skim on the ceiling. I'm going to be using this classic roller from Hamilton today. The reason why I'm using this roller is it's intended for a rough wall. We've got pretty much a rough wall here, and that's why it's going to work perfect. So that's a 225 roller from Hamilton. I've gone ahead and I've put the product already inside the tray, and I'm ready to go. So this is not like paint, it's a lot thicker. So you want to be sure that you put your roller in the pan and get this stuff all around your roller. It takes a bit of time in preparing your roller due to the fact that it's quite sticky and not so easy to get it conforming around the roller. So take your time in working that sludge all over the roller. Sometimes you might have to turn the roller just to make sure that you get that on the roller. Right, and then we're going to go ahead and roll it on the ceiling. So unlike paint, it's going to take you a couple more times to roll it more evenly and smooth due to the fact that it is a lot thicker than paint. Right, so now that I've showed you that, I'm going to carry on rolling the ceiling and then we'll come back and show you the next step. Right, so now that we've done the rolling of the ceiling with the wall skim, our next step will be to sand. It's always important to wear safety goggles because you don't want to get that dust in your eyes, because that's never great. And if you look at our ceiling now, without any sanding, you see what a lovely finish we've got. A lot of that indentation's gone away, but we still got a lot of places where we're a little higher, where the roller didn't exactly catch it, and so therefore we're just going to quickly lightly sand the whole ceiling. And the super thing about this wall skim product is the fact that it's got a built-in primer, so we have no need to put a universal undercoat or a plaster primer onto the wall skim. We can go right ahead and paint after we've sanded. So I'm going to go right ahead now and sand. I'm using obviously the mouse sander, the same sander that I used earlier, and we're just basically going to lightly sand around the cornices and everywhere on the ceiling, and then we're going to come back and paint. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you basically the same way that we were sanding earlier. And I'll see you later for painting. Okay, so now that we've finished sanding our ceiling and we've got a nice finish on the ceiling, if you didn't get a nice finish on the ceiling and there was certain areas that you couldn't come right after sanding, you had a little bit of indentation, I find that these little spackle sets from Hamilton's are perfect to resolve that problem. You basically just take that same wall skim, put it on the wall and smear it into that indentation if you had one or two little areas. But in our case we were lucky, we rolled and sanded, and our finish of our ceiling is in a great condition, ready to paint. So with wall skim, like I said, it doesn't require a universal undercoat or a plaster primer, and that's what's super. We can go right ahead now and paint as long as the product is dry. We've also gone ahead and washed the ceilings, taken all the dust off with sugar soap already, like I showed you in episode 1. And today we're going to be using this paint from Stevenson's. It's a kitchen and bathroom paint. It's excellent for a high humidity area. You've seen that we had that problem with the flaking paint, with the steam that was in the bathroom, and that's what's great about this paint from Stevenson's. Just before this program, I actually tested out the paint, and I was actually astounded at the results of this paint. Being not such a well-known branded paint, I was really impressed with the quality of this paint. So it's a low odor paint, it's a non-drip enamel, it's water-based, takes about 4 hours to dry, and we're going to go right ahead now and roll the ceiling with this. So I've prepared my roller as I showed you in episode 1 already, and I'm using the same roller that I used to do the wall skim, and that's a classic roller from Hamilton. It's for a medium quality smoothness on a wall, and that's kind of what we got here. We have smoothed out the wall, but we want to have a roller that can absorb a lot of paint, so if there is any blemishes, we can hide a little bit of that with the paint. And we're going to go right ahead and roll our ceiling. You'll see how nice this paint actually goes onto the ceiling. It's just so nice and smooth. Really is a great product. Really impressed with this particular paint. Right, I'm not going to bore you too much with the rolling part of it. I'm going to go right ahead now and roll this entire ceiling and bathroom, and then I'll come back with you to show you the before and after shot. Right, so that concludes our 2 coats of the ceiling, and you'll see now the finish is much nicer. The ceiling is looking in a really fabulous condition, and that's what we wanted. We have none of those indentations, none of that flaking paint, it's all gone. And I will say that after using the product, the kitchen and bathroom paint from Stevenson's, I've got to be honest with you, I was really astounded with this paint. It really lives up to what it says on the packaging, and for that reason and that reason only, it's the first product that I'd like to actually give my Ginger Ninja seal of approval. And now we're going to go ahead and show you the before and after pictures. And thank you very much for watching this episode, and I hope you look forward to the next episode. Thank you.